We want to turn this morning to a story the world is truly watching, a growing crisis over a surge of migrants at our southern border. Our nation expecting a record number of migrants at the southern border this year as a government projection is showing Border Patrol could encounter more than 2 million people, and that would potentially be before September 30th of this year. The last time the numbers were that high at our border, even coming close to that, was 2006. Encounters topping 1 million that year. So it is certainly a situation that has cause for concern. Arizona's U.S. senators getting involved and sounding off on this. They say that Washington really needs to do a lot more about the border crisis, and it has to happen now, adding that this issue should be up to the federal government to fix, not the states.
And both Senator Kyrsten Sinema and Senator Kelly are helping divert buses away from Gila Bend, where the town council voted unanimously to declare a state of emergency. Resources in the border community are scarce, of course, and now it's being overwhelmed by all these migrants getting dropped off by the busload. Senator Kelly says there needs to be better communication between the Department of Homeland Security and Border Patrol. He also added the border needs more resources. And Gila Bend is not alone. In Ajo, south of there, a community effort is underway as Border Patrol agents have shifted course to release asylum seekers in the small towns that just don't have all the resources they need. CBS correspondent Lilia Luciano is now joining us live from Ajo with a sneak peek of her full story coming up on CBS this morning at 7 o'clock. So Lilia, good morning. What are you seeing in Ajo? Because this is a small town with no fire department, no police department, no hospital. I imagine they're just overwhelmed.
That's right. Good morning to you. I think one of the main things that we should stress, and the difference between Gila Bend and Ajo and the way things are handled, is that Pima County has been able to add at least one more van to come here and take the asylum seekers to Tucson. So they're not staying here for a very long time, just a few hours. What we saw when we came into town yesterday was one of two drops that happened, dropping off Border Patrol vans come in, drop off dozens of asylum seekers. And the Ajo Samaritans, which you might be familiar with, they're known for doing the water drops for migrants crossing the desert. They're a humanitarian aid group. They have assembled together, put together a tent where they can get people COVID tested. The ones that test positive are handled separately. Just a few have tested positive so far, according to leadership here. They also provide them with care packages, food, anything, any basic necessity that they can get. And then from there, the Pima County vans come in and take the migrants to Tucson. So it's important to stress that, because I've talked to some locals who were concerned, wondering, are these people going to stay here? Are they using up, our few resources? This is a small town. And so I would say, the main resources are the work of the Samaritans, the volunteers.
So how are they able to do all this? Does it take a lot of volunteers?
It takes a few dozen volunteers. And yesterday I met some people who said, you know what, I'm going to go and help out. This is a community that at least now is a lot of snowbirds, a lot of retirees who want to help. I talked to a little girl yesterday who said, this is a small town, but a big community. And that really does encompass how people are showing up or wanting to help. They are not working, a lot of the Samaritans. And another thing that I heard from the International Sonoran Desert Alliance is that most of the people who are interacting with the asylum seekers have been COVID tested, and they're making that, have been vaccinated for COVID, and they're making the attempt of making sure that these elderly, for the most part, volunteers who would be vulnerable to COVID-19 are vaccinated. So it's as safe as possible. But sure, it takes a bunch of people, and they don't know how long this is going to happen. They were told to keep this going for several weeks, if not several months. But of course, as you know, and as you mentioned earlier, the weather is getting hotter. So it's going to be hard for those volunteers to be out there dealing with these growing groups of asylum seekers coming in.
No doubt about it.
But they do count on the support of Pima County.
Lilia, thank you for your report. Of course, it's an ongoing problem. We'll continue to follow it.
Thank you.